Welcome back to The Interval, a musical theatre podcast. This week we are travelling to Tulsa, circa 1967. We are talking about The Outsiders, the new musical. Tyler, could you please explain everything about the show that you are going to see on Broadway soon?
Absolutely. As Jess said, The Outsiders is a relatively new musical. It is an adaptation of the 1967 book of the same name by the author S.E. Hinton. So the musical originally premiered in San Diego in 2023, and then it transferred to Broadway in March of 2024, where it's been running at the Jacobs Theatre ever since. At the 2024 Tony Awards, it was nominated for 12 awards. It won 4, including Best Musical. The original principal cast included Brody Grant, Sky Lakota Lynch, Ryan Vasquez, and Jason Schmidt. The context of the story. It tells the story of Ponyboy Curtis. Yes, that is actually his given name.
A choice was made.
Ponyboy is a 14-year-old who lives with his 2 brothers, his older brother Daryl, who is the primary caretaker in the family since their parents died in a car accident a few years prior to the events of the story, and the middle brother of the family, Soda Pop. Another choice was made.
I just want to point out, the parents really gave up with naming their children.
Yeah, how did we go from Daryl to Soda Pop?
Ponyboy and Soda Pop.
We're not judging, but...
Oh, I am. They're awful names. Sorry, guys.
So, yes, the story primarily follows Ponyboy. He lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The town is divided into 2 rival gangs, the Greasers, which Ponyboy's brothers and friends are a part of, and the Sociers, who live on the more upper-class side of town. The bulk of the story follows Ponyboy and the conflicts that are going on between the gangs, as well as the dynamics of his family and his brothers. And there's also a big focus on his friendship with Johnny Cade, who is another greaser. That's the setup of the story. Before we jump into anything else, Jess, what are your impressions of The Outsiders from the 2 times you have listened to the cast recording?
I thought it was alright. Like, it's got some bops, I'll be honest. It started off and I was like, ooh, I like this. And it's definitely, I was going to say it's unique. It's not unique. And I think that might be one of the issues I have with it. It's basically West Side Story or Romeo and Juliet. Either one works. So it's kind of, I'm going to say it's inspired, but it does feel very on the nose at certain times of similar vibes. I don't know if I would go and see it myself.
I would agree with those comparisons to an extent because the romance aspect is really minimal.
I was going to say, as soon as there's a song that we'll talk about in a minute, it's called I Could Talk to You All Night. As soon as that came in, I audibly went, oh, it's West Side Story. So I'm glad that it's not as pivotal, but it is kind of the main plot line. Like, it's the reason that a lot of the plot happens from what I'm seeing.
It's definitely an instigator, but it's a weird one because it's a romance that doesn't... It's never really an actual romance.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, you've already answered one of my questions, because my second question after why the hell is he called Ponyboy, why do they have stupid names, is like, what makes it different to West Side Story? And if the focus is the fact that it's not solely about the romance, I'm excited to dive into that one a bit more later. But yeah, no, I can see why you like it. Like, it's fun. I listened to it twice, so I didn't just go, oh, I'll listen to it first so we can talk about it and then never again. I did, and like, I do have a couple of songs that I do want to talk about. But no, I had a good time listening to it, and it did make me check out a couple of videos, and I liked what I saw.
Shall we talk about the songs? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. I want to hear your favourite songs, and then I can chime in with a couple that I'm like, oh yeah, I like that one too.
My first favourite song is Tulsa 67. This is the opening number. It's very exposition heavy. It's Ponyboy introducing himself, introducing his brothers, introducing the Greasers and the Socias, and just explaining about, the town split in two. The east side is crumbling, the west side isn't. It's really, really good. I love it. This is one of the songs where if I had the talent, I would want to be Ponyboy, so I could sing this song. Brody Grant, who plays Ponyboy, his vocal tone is really cool.
Yeah.
It isn't anything like I've really heard in musical theatre before, and I really like it.
It's really unique.
My next one is Great Expectations.
I knew that would be it.
This is a Ponyboy solo where he's just talking about how he's got a lot of expectations on him, and he sort of feels torn by how he wants to be academic and go to college one day because his brothers can believe that he can do it, but he feels like he needs to stay in their world with the Greasers. It's just really, really good. The whole song's a Charles Dickens reference as well. And as book lovers, I appreciate the literary references.
It was very clever the way they did this one.
This feels like it's like the showstopper when you see it live.
Yeah, but see, there's still like no belting in there, and I'm really interested to see how that is like visually and while you're in the show. I do like that song though. It is nice.
Very, very quickly, because I wouldn't actually consider this next song a favourite, but there's one tiny bit in Friday at the Drive-In that scratches my brain so much. It's literally
Go
just
on.
where they say there ain't no better time in Friday at the Drive-In. Like the way they sing that is ooh.
This was one of my favourite songs actually. It's mainly because it gives off Grease vibes. No pun intended. It kind of put me straight into like that kind of vibe of the music and of the location and setting, and I could picture. I like songs where I can picture how the stage works, and I can picture this one, and it looks very fun, very colourful, very funky,
Yeah.
and very dancey, and I like that vibe.
Run Brother Run, the Act 1 closer.
Run, run, brother. Yeah, I love that song.
It's so catchy. This is sung by Dally, who is sort of like the de facto leader of the Greasers. His voice is fantastic. This is after something happens, and
We'll be doing spoilers later.
yeah,
Not now though.
yeah, and because of what's happened, Johnny and Ponyboy go to Dally for advice and help, and he tells them, "You gotta run, brother, run."
Run, run, brother.
Throwing in the towel, man. Oh, this song is beautiful. I love this song so much. This is mainly soda pop, but you get Daryl and Ponyboy joining in as well. And I can't talk about this song at all because it's completely full of spoilers.
It's a very good song. Very moving.
Tulsa 67 Reprise
The finale.
is a finale. Yeah, I love it. It makes me tear up a lot.
Can I have one more? Can I have one song for the end?
Yes, of course.
Little Brother. We'll talk about it more in spoilers, but this song made me audibly gasp.
Yeah.
And like I actively went, wait, and then started Googling to see what was actually happening while I was listening.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Boone, the guy who sings this,
Amazing.
what a talented singer. What a
Amazing.
fantastic singer.
Yeah.
Really, really good song this.
Do you have any skips? Because I have some.
I don't feel like I can really comment because I haven't listened to it enough to like figure out which ones I want to skip. I think some of the smaller ones, like the slower ones, like Death's at My Door and stuff, they're alright. They're not as memorable for me as like Tulsa 67 and stuff. What about you? What are your skips?
I Could Talk to You All Night is pretty much a skip.
Ah, valid.
It's sweet and I like it, but like once you listen to it once, kind of like, okay, this isn't as exciting as the other songs.
It's like the classic love song that everyone has in a musical that you're like, okay, we've heard this a million times.
Yeah. The Outsiders as a show as well. Like a lot of the soundtrack is really upbeat and quite fast paced, and the pacing of the actual show is really quick as well. So when you do get those slower numbers, it kind of feels like it's dragging everything to a halt.
Yeah. Talk to me about the staging, Tyler. You've got me really intrigued about it.
Run, Brother, Run, which I'm going to do first because it's the quicker of the two things to to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Dali tells Ponyboy and Johnny that they need to run away. He gives them directions to where they can go and sort of lay low for a while, and that results in them going to get on a train. And at the end of this song, you've got the sound effects of the train like pulling up really quickly, which obviously comes from the soundtrack anyway. You've got like lighting effects, so it's like headlights, and then you've got like wind effects, like this
Yeah.
blowing on their hair and their clothes and things. When Johnny says the look, that's the sign for Wendricksville, they both jump like off of the platform and then the lights go out, and it's really cool.
Ooh, I do like that. I do like that. So, like, in terms of the staging in general, what kind of vibes? Is it kind of simplistic or is it quite complicated?
No, I'd say in general the staging is pretty simple, honestly. Um, a lot of the time you've got a car on the stage, which
Mm-hmm.
is to, represent where the greasers are.
Okay, makes sense.
You've also got another car that gets kind of driven onto the stage for Friday, Friday at the drive-in, which is cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, altogether, I'd say like there's nothing particularly phenomenal about the staging in general, but one thing I will say is, or like the sets, I should say, and the way
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
kind of arrange the sets. There is also a giant tire that's just in the middle of the stage the whole time, which is a little bit weird. But outside of the story and the music, a massive part of this show is, and we do have to go into spoilers now, so that's your spoiler warning, is the Rumble. Rumble is the big confrontation between the rival gangs that happens in the like final third of the show, and the way it's choreographed is amazing. It's like full on like fight choreography, but it's like everyone's slowed down. There's like torrential rain on the stage.
What, like real rain? Not like real rain, but like real
Yeah,
water.
yeah. They like
That's so
they drench
cool.
the stage in rain.
Oh my god, I love that.
Like a lot of it's like they're moving slow down. Like it's amazing. Like I don't know how to describe it. I'll send you a video.
I I will be honest with you. When I was googling this show, that it was I think it was like the Tonys or something. They did a performance, and that part of it was on there, the fight, and it did look really cool. It was very almost dancey the way they were doing it, but yeah, they were like throwing certain people were like coming out of the fight in of the crowded fight like with a punch face and like being pulled back in. It was very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. A lot of people who have seen it on Broadway and weren't too sure about it before they went in. I've seen a lot of people online saying like, "Oh, that scene is worth the price of admittance alone." To allude to the romance that we were talking about earlier, Ponyboy is obviously part of the Greasers, and there is a girl on the other side of town called Cherry who is associated with the Socias. During Friday night at the drive-in, Ponyboy and Johnny are at the drive-in, and so is Cherry, and Cherry and Ponyboy end up connecting, and they literally just sit and talk. I think there is like a brief moment where they hold hands.
Whoa, scandalous.
That is literally the extent of the romance.
See, I find that really interesting though because like the kind of plot line alludes to it being a really serious problem. That's why they start the rumble, that's why all of it happens.
A very quick synopsis of The Outsiders, including spoilers. Because Cherry is within the Socias world and she has a boyfriend who is part of the Socias. When he finds this out, he gets very angry at Ponyboy. Johnny and Ponyboy are walking home together. They're walking through the park. They are jumped by the boyfriend, whose name escapes me.
Bob.
Bob, thank you. They are jumped by Bob and five other socials, four other socials, and Bob grabs Ponyboy and he tries to drown him by shoving his head into a fountain.
Jesus Christ, Bob. Chill, man.
In the midst of this, Johnny obviously wants to try and save his
Mm-hmm.
friend from getting killed, and earlier on in the show, Johnny has gone to like where the greasers hang out, and he's there quite late at night, and Dali finds him, and Johnny explains that he goes there because his mum is in a really abusive relationship with his dad, and Johnny's scared that one day he's gonna go home and he's gonna find his mum's been killed,
Oh God.
basically. So he'd rather try and avoid going home. Like, and he tells this to Dali, and Dali, like, tries to comfort him, and he gives Johnny his switchblade and says, like, oh, I'll show you, just how you can use this for self-defense. Johnny has the switchblade when Ponyboy is being attacked by the Socias. He takes the switchblade out, he stabs Bob in the back. Bob ends up dying. Ponyboy and Johnny run to Dali to say, what do we do? Dali says, you need to run away, you need to get out of here because people are going to start looking for you, which is what happens in Run Brother Run. Ponyboy and Johnny end up going to an abandoned church. While they are in the church, they're sort of sitting on the roof, I think, and they're smoking and just having a conversation. And Ponyboy, like, discards the cigarette, but he doesn't stub it out first. And the church ends up catching fire, and a children's choir it was inside, unbeknownst to
Jesus Christ.
the boys. They run into the church to save the children, which they do. So all of them are fine. Ponyboy is pretty much unharmed, but while Johnny is in the church, a beam falls onto his legs, leaving him paralyzed. So the boys end up going home. Ponyboy reunites with his brothers, which is very emotional. Johnny comes back and he's admitted to hospital. After this happens, the Socias basically declare war on the Greasers because Ponyboy and Johnny have come back, and they rightfully believe that they're the reason Bob is dead, because they are. That's when the rumble happens. After that, they go back to the hospital to see Johnny. Johnny succumbs to his wounds and dies, which is really sad. So Johnny dies. Ponyboy is obviously devastated by this because that's his best friend. Dali is also equally devastated, and he's so, like, distraught by what's happened, he kills himself. And that leaves Ponyboy so traumatized, he basically doesn't leave the house. He eventually gets given Johnny's jacket. It's got a note in it that he wrote to Ponyboy before he died. The lyrics of Stay Gold are basically the note, and that kind of gets Ponyboy kind of out of the state he's in.
Dali is the one that kills himself. So who is he to Johnny?
He's like the leader of the Greasers.
What really throws me off is obviously the song where he kills himself is Little Brother, which made me think that it's his brother.
No, they're not actually related.
I also got really confused because he says, like, first they beat us down one after another, keep losing ground, nowhere to take cover. That made me think that they'd lost the rumble. I struggled to kind of understand that bit of the plot line because, first of all, they won the rumble, so that sentence doesn't necessarily make sense because they didn't beat them down. Johnny died because he was saving people.
I think it's definitely a musical that you need to see the plot actually happening for it to all make sense.
Yeah. I like the fact that Stay Gold is the note that he has in his jacket. That's really, like, that's got a lot more of a punch now to it.
Stay Gold, Ponyboy, Stay Gold. That's like the iconic quote. It's really nice that they obviously adapted that into a full song.
What is the only one thing that you're most looking forward to when you go and see this show?
Tulsa 67.
You can arguably say that's for both the first and the last one, so I'm cool with that. Is this the show where the Ponyboy's in the crowd?
Not that I know of.
I have just done some research as well. It is that musical. There's a Ponyboy seat at the Outsiders. It is A115, if we're being specific.
Does it black out and then does he run and sit in the seat?
No, not necessarily. It doesn't black out. About 10 minutes before the show, apparently, he walks up the left centre aisle, and, like, sits. I think he sits on the seat and then uses the seat to climb onto the stage and then sits on the tyre at about 10 minutes in before the show fully starts.
So if you're not aware of who it is, that's probably a bit awkward. You're like, what the fuck is this random kid doing?
Yeah, I think that's the point. So he is actually technically... That is an actual seat. There is the Ponyboy seat. He, like, enters, sits down, and then kind of climbs on. So he does blend in.
I'm interested to see that happen when I go and see it now. What are your final thoughts?
I think it makes a lot more sense now that you've explained the plot. I would highly recommend either watching this musical or at least brushing up on the plot or hey, you've listened to this, so you've done that already. Well done. That's sufficient.
If you would like to watch it, hit us up.
I still stand by, I'm not 100% sure it's like something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, but I can see why you really like it and I can see the appeal behind it.
It's just a lot of fun. The soundtrack is fantastic. It is one of my favorite cast recordings now. If you listen to the soundtrack and you really, really like it and you have the means and the chance to see it, I would recommend.
What are you holding space for today? This fine day in Tulsa, 1967.
I'm holding space for a TV show called Parenthood. This is an American show. It's a family drama, essentially. It's about four grown up siblings of varying ages, and they all have their own families. It's just kind of about their day to day lives, day to day struggles within their families, and it's about how, like, the wider family all come together and support each other and sometimes don't support each other. It's really good. It's got a lot of fantastic actors in it. Lauren Graham, most people probably know from Gilmore Girls. Peter Krause, who has been in 6 Feet Under and 911, is also in it. He's equally amazing. I just recommend giving it a try if you haven't heard of it before. What are you holding space for today?
Today, I am holding space for a book that I have not read yet. If it's good, I'll be holding space for it twice. It's a book that we've chosen at book club, and I'm really excited about it. It's called Mrs. Death, so like MRS Death, MISSES Death. And it's basically about a troubled young writer called Wolf who meets death and kind of scribes her memories and like her life and how she navigates being death. But they like travel across time and place to like witness deaths of past and present, and like they discuss what the future holds for humanity and things, and like their friendship grows. And I think it's going to be really interesting. It's like a fantasy like magical realism book, and it sounds really interesting. And I read like the first like the epilogue the other day, and it's very interesting. It gives off kind of Neil Gaiman vibes at the beginning, and except not problematic, you know. And like I said, if it's very good, I will be talking about it again in another holding space. So tune in or buy the book, give it a read, and find out what I thought about it. That is The Outsiders. Tyler, what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we are talking about Bake Off, the musical. This was an actual musical that exists.
It was. What we're going to be doing, as a forewarning, is we will be doing Bake Off the musical as it exists, and then making up our own one, just like we did with Hell's Kitchen.
So you can all look forward to that.
In the meantime,
stay gold.
Stay gold, and don't smoke in churches or on churches. And name your kids better. Those poor pony boys.